I'm just gonna come out right now and say it. I cannot stand the phrase anti-aging. At this point in my life, it drives me crazy. And I've used it for years in previous YouTube videos, editorially, and in just regular chit chats with my girlfriends. But now here at 40 years old, I don't want to be anti-aging at all. Aging has been the biggest blessing for me. And I constantly think to myself, how many people wish that they could be in my seat right now, but they didn't even get to make it to 40. So for me, aging is a privilege, it's a blessing, and I'm doing it well. I am aging well. And to be honest with you, I think I'm aging backwards. I feel younger both inside and outside. I look younger than I ever have. I feel vibrant, I'm radiating joy, and I am just doing this through my daily practices in my life. So in this video, I'm going to share with you just some tips on aging well. Hi, my name is Lauren O'Connell, and I am the beauty editor at Cosmopolitan Middle East magazine. I am also a beauty, skincare, wellness, spiritual blogger. And right now I have my little puppy in front of me. He's sleeping on my rug. He actually looks like my rug. I can't tell where the puppy starts or where the rug starts and the puppy ends, or you know what I mean. But he is just such a little doll. His name's Teddy. So I wrote down this list of things I do, tips, I guess you would say, for aging well for women who are 40 plus. It works for men too, but my audience is mostly women, so we're gonna just, I guess, stick with the women. And the number one tip is something that I have had to work on so incredibly hard the last 5 years of my life, and that is confidence and self-advocating. And I just did not do this for really the majority of my life. I always let people make choices for me. I was a people pleaser. I grew up in a very strict home. And in that home, I was expected to perform. And if I didn't perform, there were consequences. And I just started to, or I would say I only saw myself through the way that I perceived others seeing me. So I never understood who I was. I never understood my own personal power and my being. Instead, it was, oh, what does she think of me? What does he think of me? Did I do this right by his standards? That type of thing. And I lived like this forever. It was so toxic, and I was just stuck in this sort of matrix of self-doubt. And self-doubt is something that when I had my spiritual awakening at 35 years old, I am 40 now, but when I had my spiritual awakening 5 years ago, I realized that my sacral chakra was my solar plexus chakra was completely blocked. And that's the chakra that's in the middle of our stomach, and it's just about confidence. And I just didn't have any confidence. And a lot of people would say, well, Lauren, of course you're confident. You have this Instagram account, you're always going out and you're doing photos and all this stuff. But then I was living for the likes, for the comments. What are people gonna say? Are they gonna approve of this picture or not? It was horrendous. And you know, it's not just for me, but then I'm raising my 2 children. So if I don't have the right energy, what am I putting into my kids? So I began this incredible journey, which was a tough journey, but it was about kind of breaking down all these barriers, all these mindsets I had around me, and really building myself up to be my authentic being. I did this in so many different ways. I took courses on actually presenting because I was always so nervous to be in front of other people. So public speaking, presenting. I took a broadcast journalism course one summer at the New York Film Academy. You know, I live in Dubai, but I fly home to the US every summer. So I did that. I started listening to a lot of different YouTubers. One in particular that I like is Erin Dowdy. And funny enough, I tend to gravitate towards women. I always, I just like to listen and follow the guidance of other women. And he's a man, but what he says just really resonates with me. So I just began listening to this in my free time. I wouldn't listen to the radio in the car. Instead, I would listen to a YouTube video. I've never really gotten into podcasts yet, but I would listen to a YouTube video and just, start really learning about what self-doubt is, how to work through it. And I began to understand my purpose in the world. And actually, my purpose is the same purpose we all have, and that's to experience. And I just realized that I wasn't experiencing things. I was experiencing things from almost I was so far from who I am that I was experiencing things through, how would I describe it? Almost through looking through a frosted glass. And it just wasn't quite ever there. It wasn't connecting. And I was denying myself just honestly my purpose in life, which is to experience life. So I have to say that going into this whole confidence, self-advocating avenue has been incredibly gratifying to me, and it really has helped me to age well. I am so confident today. I believe in myself. I have dreams and aspirations that I know I can achieve, and that was always in there. That little inner child within me held on to that. It was just all of this conditioning from the outside that made me forget who I authentically am. I did do inner child healing this last year, and if you have, actually, it's so funny I'm talking about this because my daughter said to me yesterday, which I thought was so profound. She's 13 years old, and she was saying how we were talking about somebody in particular, and she was saying how when you're a child, if you have these things happen to you, that you grow up thinking that life is a certain way or you're a certain way, and it all stems back to childhood. And she is 100% right. And inner child healing is such an important thing to do. I went through life with so much self-doubt because as a child, I was never taught confidence or courage. And I never knew how to grow that within me and to have it within me. Instead, it was always just that I wasn't good enough. And that's where that self-doubt came from. And I carried that up into my adulthood. And so I highly recommend, if you have any hangups from your childhood, or even if you don't, to go get some inner child healing. You will be amazed what pops up. And once you really work through it and heal it, it's like you upgrade who you are. You just become this new, better version of you. The second thing is having a spiritual connection. Now, if you're religious, that's obviously great. You can, just work that through your religion. For me personally, I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual. And I meditate daily. I actually have a morning ritual where I wake up in the morning after I get the kids to school. I then meditate for about 10 to 20 minutes, and I journal every single morning. And I journal in a way where I talk about, or I write down what I'm grateful for, and I'll pick maybe 3 or 4 things that have happened to me within the last 24 hours that I'm grateful for. Sometimes they're silly little things, sometimes they're more profound, heavy things. And I also then manifest. I'm a big manifester. If you don't know about manifesting, it'll change your life. But it's basically being able to just bring anything you want to you. Ask and you shall receive. And there's a way to do it where you speak in the present tense and you can really just start to create the life that you desire. If I do have a book on manifesting, I wrote it last year. It's an ebook. You can buy it online. It's only $29. It's 30 pages long and it's really fun to read. I have manifested crazy things in my life. Just things that it's coincidences that are just so random that that there's some sort of higher power at work. But you can find that on actually down below in the description box. So manifesting has been an incredible part of my aging well journey. And once I realized I had the power to manifest, it was like I unlocked this whole new portal of my life, or this whole new version of me. And I was able to just start really playing around and starting to really live the life that I wanted to live and bringing that life to me. And that to me has been part of aging well as well. I wish I knew about this earlier, but I'm happy I figured this out in my late 30s because now I plan on manifesting my way through the rest of my life. I also am big on health. Now, For my diet, I do not consume any coffee or caffeine, and I don't consume any alcohol, which is a new one for me. But it really has just helped me to age backwards, age well. And I find that coffee and alcohol, they were just killing my complexion and also the way I feel inside. I love to wake up with a clear head. I don't want my body dependent on any substances. And I feel energetic and I feel great throughout the day. Honestly, I got to a point in my life where I was dreading drinking alcohol. And it's hard because I have so many friends and we like to go out together, and I enjoy the taste of a glass of Sauvignon Blanc or a mojito, but I just didn't like the way it made my body feel. I didn't want to put these substances into my body. And when I just decided to stop drinking, it was like I just gave myself the permission to follow my intuition and just to follow what I want to do in life. Once again, making choices for myself. And now I feel phenomenal. I feel phenomenal every single day. And I love the fact that my body is no longer dependent on coffee. I used to be such a coffee drinker. I love the ritual of it. I love the taste of it, everything to do with coffee. But not having Oh, that's my puppy. But not having to drink that in the morning to get my day started has been a huge blessing for me. I also have tried mostly to cut back on sugar, and I am a sugar person. I love cookies and all of that, but I know that also being 40 and heading into the menopausal years, I just want my body to be as healthy as possible. So while I do still have it, I just eat that stuff in moderation. I also try to avoid whey protein at all costs because I do find that whey protein does make me break out, and I don't normally break out. My struggle with my skin has always been I have very dry skin, but if I do have whey protein in my diet, it does make blemishes pop up on my skin. And speaking of skin, I am adamant about having a skincare routine. I have studied the ingredients that go into skincare for quite some time. I've mentioned this before, but I have a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering with a concentration in biomechanics. Once again, not my choice. That was my parents' choice. And I also have a master's of science in nursing. So I will say when I was in nursing school, I loved the dermatology part of it. So for me, the skin is it's so important. And honestly, when I look good on the outside, it just makes me feel good on the inside. I know that beauty is an illusion, but if you really want to get technical, I think everything's an illusion. So you might as well enjoy the illusion while you're seeing it. But having the right ingredients in my skincare routine has just changed my entire look. It's changed my skin, and it truly has made me age backwards. It's using the right vitamin C, the right retinol, peptides, ceramides, antioxidants, and the right moisturizers and hydrators. And if you go to my morning and evening skincare routine videos, I break down what I use, the exact products I use, as well as why I'm using them, the ingredients in them, and what they're doing for the skin. And I also talk about the ingredients that I will never ever let touch my skin. There's quite a few of them, and you will probably be surprised because some of them might be in your skincare products that you're using right now, and without realizing it, your anti-aging cream is actually aging you. Oh gosh, that anti-aging. So of course, also with all that being said, I wear SPF 50 every single day, even when I'm staying indoors, because UVA rays, which are the silent agers, are the ones that break down our collagen. They can penetrate through glass, so they're coming right through the window. And finally, I'll say with the health aspect of it, exercise, of course, is key. I haven't been exercising for a little while, just to be fully honest with you, but I am going to get back into it this year. And for me, I have come to realize that I've always known this, but now I can just say it. I hate grueling workouts. I hate doing burpees. I hate running. I don't like these things, so I don't want to do them, and I don't have to. I can have the power over my own life. But For a while, I was just killing myself at the gym doing these workout classes. I would come home at 10 a.m. flat out exhausted from the classes. And then I'm trying to eat really light, count calories, and it just wasn't working for me. I wasn't happy and I wasn't thriving. So just taking my power back and saying, you know what, I can still exercise, but I can do it the way I want to do it, not the way that I feel that the gym makes me feel I should do it or Instagram makes me feel I should do it, has been so liberating. And that in itself has made me age well. I want to also talk about relationships. You know, the past few years, when I had my spiritual awakening, one of the things that was going on with me at that time was I felt very despondent about not having a career. And I had been a stay-at-home mom, which I loved doing. And I always knew, though, inside of me that I was meant to be an entrepreneur. I was meant to do something big. And I just wasn't answering that calling. And it really had me feeling even more so disconnected from myself. So I started to work on a career. And that came in the form of building up these social media accounts, being the beauty editor at Cosmopolitan Middle East magazine, and just doing lots of little odd and end type of jobs throughout the last 5 years. But I went really hard on it. So I really threw myself into it because I felt like I was ready. And when I did that, what I neglected was nurturing my relationships, my friendships, my relationship with my husband, and the people I really wanted to be around. And I kind of became one of those people where I wouldn't initiate plans, but I would always go if a friend did. And I had this realization at the end of this past year, 2022. And I don't want to get into specifics because it's very personal, but I did lose someone in my life, and very suddenly, and it made me realize that it's not worth it to throw yourself into your career like that and to forget about everything else. Now, I will say I've never neglected my kids by any means, but I kind of did career kids. And then on the periphery, second was husband friends. So now I've decided to nurture my friendships for 2023. That is something I am working on. And I already have reached out to everyone, making plans, and I want to do it. And for me, that is part of the aging well. It's enjoying these moments because these moments are the ones that really count. And they're the times that you will look back on as you get older and just remember them as great times in your life. So tomorrow, for example, I have a girlfriend coming over and we're just going to take my dog for a walk and have some breakfast. I'm having lunch with a friend tomorrow as well. Busy morning and afternoon for me. But, I'm just making a point to see my friends and to just keep nurturing the connections I have with them. And with my husband, the same. While he does appreciate me working hard and building this career, I feel that he's an Aquarius, so he's always more off in his own world. And if I start to be off in my own world, we're not going to connect. So I've always been the one to kind of anchor him down, which is funny because I have no earth in my astrological chart at all. But he is so air. If you're into astrology, he's very airy. Actually, his name is Aaron. And so I have to pull him down to chat to get us to connect. And I wasn't doing that. And I did feel quite distant from him. So when you really bring those relationships in and nurture them, that to me is part of the aging well process. And that's one of my tips for women over 40 plus. And lastly, I want to say that it's important to always keep learning and to keep reading. I'm a prolific reader. I love reading books. And so I actually have this box by my bed. It's actually in a nice little container. Box is not the right word for it, but it has probably about 20 novels in it that I'm going to read this year. And I look at it and I feel so excited. I just love to read books and I love to always learn things. I'm one of those people where I'm constantly Googling. I Google everything. If it's a word that I read that I don't know, or a concept, or sometimes a country, anything, I will Google it and just try to learn whatever I can about the subject because My brain is like a sponge. I always want to keep learning. I've taken courses throughout my adult years and in all different ways, whether it was the broadcast journalism course, I've taken YouTube courses, I've taken self-empowerment courses. Just anything that kind of strikes my interest, I'll take. Actually, I'm doing a meditation course next week, and it's to connect more with my spirit team, which is something I've been working on for quite some time, but it's with a very well-known spiritual coach actually in Dubai. And so I'm taking that with her, and I'm really looking forward to it. But whatever interests you, go for it. It's never, ever too late. And whether, you want to try out cooking, gardening, whatever comes to your mind. I don't know why I just thought of this, but CAD drawing, if you're into architecture. My in-laws are here right now. My father-in-law is an architect, and he was talking about CAD the other day. That's why it popped into my mind. But you can always keep learning and keep putting yourself out there. And finally, when you look good, you feel good. So I recently went into my closet. My closet looked awful. I just had everything all over the place. I had hangers that didn't match, and I just felt like I don't even know what clothes I have because nothing's organized. I bought new hangers. They were not expensive, but they're cute. They're pink or like a peach with a rose gold. And I did my whole closet over, organized everything. Now I can see what I actually have, and I can put together outfits. My 13-year-old daughter, she always says that she has clothes but no outfits. And I say to her, oh my gosh, I can totally relate to that. So I now can put together outfits that make me look good. And when I look good, I feel good. And so those are simple things that you can do as well. And this is part of my life's journey. And I'm really proud of myself for actually making this video and sharing it with you. I think I am ready to put my YouTube channel in a slightly different direction. For a long time, it was makeup, then it was getting into skincare, and then I was kind of just all over the place for a while. But I have this real wellness, spirituality, beauty focus now with kind of a holistic feel to it. And that's what I'm going to stick with. If you've had a spiritual awakening as well, and you're wondering, what do I do now? I did make a video on it. It's right here.